welcome to this week's episode of Medicine with Jesus. And this week we are going to look at immunity. This week we're going to discuss a little bit about your immune system. Now let's first start by defining what we mean by immunity. So immunity is your body's ability to recognize and fight off different microorganisms, and by microorganisms I mean germs such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, stuff like that. And then not only is it the body's ability to recognize the microbe, but also the body's ability to recognize the products of that microbe that are toxic to the body. So the definition of immunity that I can give is the body's ability to recognize and fight off microorganisms and the products that they make that can be toxic to the body. Now there are different ways to classify immunity. There is innate immunity, which is also known as non-specific. This involves structures such as the skin because it protects you from different things. It's not specific for a particular microbe, it protects you from different kind of things. So structures such as the skin, structures such as the layer of your digestive tract, which also protects the internal environment from the external environment, and different kind of body responses. So innate immunity is also known as non-specific because it's not specific to a particular microbe. Then there's also acquired immunity, and this is also known as specific immunity because this is where the body has a specific response to a particular microorganism. So this is where now the body responds to a particular type of germ, a particular type of virus, and this is also the one that leaves memory cells. And by memory cells, I mean cells that have the memory of a particular bacteria. So let's say you respond to a bacteria. There are certain cells that will have the memory of how that bacteria looked like. And the next time you encounter that bacteria, those memory cells will quickly produce so that your body responds very, very fast. Now, there's also the immunity we get from immunization, the kind of immunity we get from our parents, and there are different kinds of classifications for immunity. Now, sickness is when your immune system responds to a particular microbe. So this is when your sickness is basically your body responding to a particular microbe. It's important to note that when your immunity is too low, sometimes your body will not respond typically. So you could have a particular bacteria, and then because your immunity is low, you will not respond the way someone who has encountered that bacteria should respond. And that's because your body cannot properly fight it. And we said sickness is basically your body fighting it. In certain cases, such as stage 4 HIV, someone could get TB. And when we check on the X-ray, we're not going to be able to see anything. And that's because the body cannot properly fight the TB. So you could have a bacteria and it will be there growing and multiplying, but your body doesn't really know, and that's because your immunity is too low. So to some degree, we can actually say sickness, though bad, is not necessarily bad. When you look at it, we feel sick, you get a fever because your body is trying to kill off whatever microbe it has encountered. So to some degree, we can actually say that sickness is not so bad because it's actually a sign that your body is fighting. I hope you get where I'm going. Like, sickness is actually a sign that your body is fighting. What Christian principle can we get from this? Sometimes the struggle isn't always a bad thing. That's because the fact that you're actually struggling is a sign that you are alive. It's a sign that your immunity is working. The fact that you are struggling is a sign that you are not dead, because dead people don't struggle. So sometimes the struggle, and yes, it feels bad. Sometimes going through things and trials that are necessary for our character development, yes, sometimes it feels bad, but it's not always a bad thing. Dead Christians don't struggle. So when you are going through trials that are there for character development, yes, it might feel bad, but remember that the struggle is actually a sign that you are alive, and may you draw comfort from that, because dead Christians don't struggle. So keep fighting, keep trying, and yes, sometimes it feels bad, but keep on keeping on, because like I have said, dead Christians don't struggle. The fact that you are struggling is a sign that you are alive, and may you draw comfort from that to keep on fighting. Now, I throw in the fact of how we get fevers. Sometimes you get a fever because the body is increasing the temperature so that it can destroy the microbe it has encountered. Sometimes in our Christian journey, in our Christian experience, let's also learn to increase the temperature. Let's also learn to go a little higher, pray a little more, study a little more when we encounter trials. Increase the temperature so that the microbe can die. So in our journey, in our Christian experience, sometimes let's also learn to, increase the temperature when we encounter certain trials. And that was Medicine with Jesus for the week. Till next time, bye.